Very good morning to you and welcome to Factfile. This is a production of Yewande on the March to 2027 Continous voter registration. No doubt, the country is entering towards 2027 general elections by the day. It is also clear that only eligible voters who are duly registered and obtained voter card will be allowed to vote in the elections. In line with this, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has announced the resumption of its continuous voter registration. Continuous voter registration is an exercise meant for the registration of citizens who turn 18 years of age after the last registration exercise, or those who, for one reason or another, did not register in the previous exercises. More so, the 2010 Electoral Act as amended mandates the Commission to carry out CVR nationwide and to make available to every political party within 60 days after each year the names and the addresses of each person registered during that year. INEC has announced that the exercise will resume next Monday, August 18th, in 811 centers nationwide. The registration will commence with online registration, which will be followed a week after by in-person, that is, physical registration on August 25th. The two processes will continue simultaneously for a year until 30th of August 2026. In line with Great Power's corporate social responsibility drive, we shall be engaging relevant INEC officers this morning to educate you more on the CVR, its modalities and importance. We also have the opportunity to clarify gray areas about voter registration. Alright, good morning Nigeria. It is another Monday where we get to break down issues that matter and of course bridge the gap between you and those in power. Today, our focus is on something that will determine your voice in 2027. Continuous voter registration, also known as CVR. Now, let's put it simply. The exercise is for Nigerians who have just turned 18 or those who for any reason did not get to register during the last round. It's also for those who might have lost or damaged their voter's card and need a replacement. Alright? The goal is simple. If you want to vote in 2027, you must be on the register. It is very, very simple. You want to vote in 2027, you must be on the register. Now, under the Electoral Act of 2010, it actually states that INEC is required to carry out this registration nationwide and make the list available to political parties within 60 days after every year. Now, this is not just a formality, it's a legal obligation to make sure that every eligible Nigerian has the chance to participate in our democracy. Now, INEC has also announced that this particular CVR resumes next Monday, which is August 18, across 811 centers nationwide. Now, the process starts with online registration, followed by in-person registration a week later. All right? On August 25th. Now, both will run side by side for 1 year, ending on August 30th. Right? We at Great Power believe that it's our responsibility to keep you informed and, of course, empowered. And that is why this morning we are going to be speaking with senior INEC officials who will break down how you can register, what documents you'll be needing, and why doing this early is in your best interest. And of course, we definitely love to hear from you to your questions, clarifications, or frustrations about the process. You're most welcome, Mr. Romanos.
This voter registration is to vote for the same type of the kind of democracy we have in Nigeria. Democracy of majority carry vote. Even if the majority is fake, even if the majority is manipulated, and also ask if Yakubu, Mohammed, the INEC chairman, has National Assembly Party, the bill that he must be let the INEC chairman forever. So, Nigeria has been decreased so much. People will say majority can't vote. When the majority is not the way, they manipulated the highest leader. I don't know how, man, what sort of direction
Well, Mr. Romanus, the power definitely lies in your hands. All you need to do is to go out and vote. It is not a process of majority carries the vote, right? If you're voting for a particular person and you decide to, give reasons why other people from your side should vote for your own preferred candidate, of course, why not? Why not? It is not a case of maybe electing the same leaders over and again. You can actually make the change, and that is why we are bringing this particular program to you. Hello, good morning. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Bama. I'm calling from Lagos.
Bama from Lagos, you're most welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. The INEC is trying to give the job that we cannot complete. This program will give some ways to what happens. You go to the center, you not need any family cooperation. You go to the local government, the systems are not working. And the Nigerians will trust that something that is free. We are using our own energy to voluntarily do something. The government who promised us of doing this will not do it. And at the end of the day, a lot of Nigerians were exempted from voting. I mean, the age limit they are saying they will abide. If you go to other states, you will not abide with it. 15 years child is allowed to vote. If you know, you vote.
All right, Mr. Obama, thank you so much for your submission this morning. However, this is 2025, right? This is just we're just about hitting the last quarter of the year 2025. Elections will come 2027. We have less than 2 years or more to actually, complete this particular process. And if you do that on time, you definitely get the vote, and your vote definitely will count. Joining us now online is the Chief Press Secretary to INEC, Chairman Rotimi Oyekomi, who is definitely online with us this morning. A very good morning to you. All right, now let's start with the concept of CBR. All right, again, a lot of people have actually talked about this. As a matter of fact, this morning, just before we got, across to you, a man just called and let us know that, oh, we're back at it again. Why exactly has INEC come up again? What exactly is this all about? And the question would definitely be going to you. Is this CBR, is it a yearly process? We need you to educate Nigerians on this.
Well, thank you very much. At NC6, in the Electoral Act, the Commission is mandated to undertake continuous voter registration. So, continuous voter registration has a connotation that people should be able to register at any time, at any given period. But there are issues about that because the quantum of funds required to execute the CBR in the manner prescribed by the Electoral Act is impossible because it's extremely expensive. That is why the Commission decided that it will hold the CBR within a particular period. And in this case, as in the last time, it will hold for over a year. So for the current situation, we are starting the online pre-registration on 18th August, which is the next Monday. Now, before the 2020 general election, INEC introduced the online opportunity for Nigerians to just log on to our portal and start the pre-registration, put their data, put their all the details required, but they will now have to go to a designated center to complete that registration. So we are starting next Monday with online pre-registration, and then we'll start the physical in-person registration on 25th August.
Okay. Now, I'd like for you to actually confirm this particular type of dates, because I want it to be that whenever we're giving information, it has to be accurate. So, when are we commencing the resumption this year? I want you to confirm the takeoff date and the process of registration, time, and then the days of registration.
Thank you very much. We are starting the online pre-registration on 18th August. And the physical in-person registration will start on 25th August. Now, for the online pre-registration, all Nigerians need to do is to log on to our portal. That is www.cdr.inecnigeria.org. I'll take that again.
Yes, please.
www.cdr.inecnigeria.org. And there are a couple of steps that Nigerians need to take when they get to that portal. The first thing is to log on to the portal. The second thing is to create an account on that portal with a valid email address. And then after doing that, a link will be sent to the email address. So the person needs to go back to his email address and activate that link. Now, after the link has been activated, a form will come up, and then you have to fill the form according to the questions asked. And after doing that, the person will now choose. He will select a convenient date and time that he or she would like to visit the INEC office closest to him or her to complete the registration, because we have to take your biometric and all of that. Then after doing that, you submit the form on the portal. After the form is submitted, you have to wait for what we call the application slip, which will contain the QR code and other details. So you need to print out that, which when you visit the INEC certificate center, you then present that to the officer present, and then the registration will be completed. That is for the online registration that is starting next Monday, 18th August. But for the in-person, you don't need all of that. You just walk into the certificate center closest to you, and then the officer will take your details. And this time, as in the last time, we are using the INEC voter enrollment device, where all your details will be entered on the tablet, and your passport photograph taken, your biometric taken, and then a slip will be generated at the end of the exercise.
Okay, all right. The online registration actually sounds like a lot, and I really don't know if I'm the only one that actually feels that way, but a lot of people might probably have issues, right? And I feel that there should have been a sensitization before now, and I'm glad that we are able to actually bring this up so that we can also sensitize listeners and of course Nigerians at large. However, let's talk about those who have problems with their registration, like those who love to, do a transfer, stolen cards, misplaced cards, damaged cards, and all that. Can they also take advantage of this CDR?
And that is why this online registration thing, the portal that we have, is very important, because all those services are also available on the portal. In the previous instance, you will have to visit the INEC office closest to you to fill a form, whether you want to replace your PVC or you want to correct the mistakes on it, mistakes such as date of birth or something like that. You have to visit our office. But right now, in the comfort of your home, just have an Android phone and have some data. You log on to our portal, and you can access all these services. Either you want to transfer your polling unit, or you want to correct the mistake of your PVC, or you want to replace lost or defective card. These options are there, and they are very simple. The portal is user-friendly. The English words put there are specific because the primary school can actually understand it. So even if you give a primary school pupil that portal to help you with it, you'll be surprised that they will just be going seamless all the things. So Nigerians now have the opportunity of just going to that portal to request for, and it will be done. The only thing you need to visit INEC office for is for the capturing of your biometrics, your facials and your fingerprints.
Okay. We would definitely love to take calls so that we can also get questions from listeners and, of course, Nigerians at large who would love to ask questions. 0912-423-0865. 0912-423-0865. That is the number for you to call to be a part of the show. Just before we start taking calls, I'd like to ask another question, and that will be for those who are not physically strong, those who are sick, right? And they would love to register. Now, can this registration be done on behalf of this particular person by proxy?
Unfortunately, it cannot be done by proxy because our society, even the collection of the PVC, we don't allow collection by proxy because people will then say, come up with conspiracy theories. There was a time, just before the 2019 general election, that we were accused of giving bulk cash to traditional rulers in some states to distribute to people. And then we have to emphasize that you cannot collect PVC by proxy, you have to be physically present. So you will get there. In other places, for instance, you can put the PVC to the owner. But, because of certain issues in Nigeria, we have not gotten to that stage yet.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Anif calling from Congo, United States.
Anif, you are most welcome. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Actually, I have two things to say. The INEC arrangement as regards to continuous social administration is a step in the right direction. Just like you have said, the enlightenment should be made public because as of now, many people are not aware that this exercise is going on. And again, I want to ask, what the butter, what is the thing you are going to call us again? And again, if somebody, what about those that want to change their, maybe their voter card has faded away and they want to collect the new one, how do they go about it? And again, what is INEC doing concerning electoral reform? Because the problem we have in Nigeria actually is not about collecting voter cards. The problem we have in Nigeria is having the vote of the people to count. So what is INEC really doing about electoral reform that will ensure that people vote count? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anif, for your contribution this morning. Mr. Rotimi Lekwami, I hope you heard all he has said. All right, so let's start with the first. He asked how exactly can, he asked for the website again. He wanted to, he wanted you to call the website again. That's number one. Number two, for those whose PVCs are actually faded, right? This CBR, how can they actually go ahead and get a new one?
That address is www.cbr.inecnigeria.org. Should I take that again?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
www.cbr.inecnigeria.org. That's the URL. So if you click on that, it takes you straight to the portal. And just as I explained minutes ago, replacing your lock or the face card is very seamless and simple now. There are services on the portal, and you can easily see the icon. You click on services, and then you will see all these services. Okay, you want to apply for replacement of lock card or the face card, you click on it, and then you just follow the instructions. And I tell you, once you do that, within a short period, you will be able to solve that problem.
Okay. All right. Let's move on now to more serious issues, right? As regards this particular CVR, let's address the issue of the likelihood of prison inmates' participation in the 2027 elections. Are the chances right? Can you walk us through that?
Thank you very much. Recently, the Comptroller General of Correctional Services visited INEC to discuss the possibility of having female vote during elections. And it was a timely visit, and it didn't just start. Actually, for 2023, before then, we have been in discussion with the prison, with the correctional services, to find a way for prisoners to be able to vote. You know, in 2014, some inmates went to a court in Benin, the Federal High Court in Benin, to enforce their right to vote. And of course, the Federal High Court granted those 5 inmates the right to vote. You know, the matter also went to the appeal court, and the appeal court also gave them the right to vote. But he said that the right has to be enforced individually. You know, it's not. It's when you make an attempt to go and do it. Not as if it's an obligation. You cannot force it. Now, there are a lot of issues around, and those are the things that the commission will need to work out. First, to create an enabling law through the National Assembly to recognize the fact that inmates can vote, because it's one of the requirements of the Electoral Act is that, you know, a person that wants to register, for instance, should not be subject to any legal incapacity to vote under any law. So how does that apply? Does that apply to those awaiting trial as well, or those convicted already? You know, and there is the issue of what happens before the election. For instance, outside the prison, political parties engage in campaign and all of that. Will campaigning for votes will also be allowed in the prison? Then the security issue is concerned. There are not polling units in the prison. Are we going to establish polling units in prison, or inmates will be escorted out of the prison to the nearest polling unit close to them? Because we also have to understand how many of the inmates are already registered and where are their polling units, because the law says you can only vote where you register. So if all of them are registered and the same polling unit close to where the prison is, it's easier. But the security issue is there. I mean, who takes responsibility for that? You know? And then will people be allowed to monitor? Assuming, for instance, the voting takes place in the prison, will observers and media be allowed to go into the prison to monitor what is going on? So you can see that there are dimensions to this. Those are the areas that both the correctional services, INEC, and the National Assembly will have to work out.
Very true. Now, talking about the things that the National Assembly will definitely have to work out, let's also talk about Nigerians in the diaspora and those on essential services in Nigeria. I'm talking, you know, doctors, I'm talking people in the media, I'm talking uniformed persons who are definitely going to be on duty that day, ensuring that, you know, these particular votes of individuals count. Can they, or is there a possibility of having the opportunity to vote ahead of that particular day, because they are going to be on duty that very day? What exactly is being done on this particular issue?
Thank you very much. I'll start with diaspora voting. This discussion has been going on for quite some time now. And we always say something. INEC is ready to run if the law is amended. For instance, the law says you can only vote where you register. That's very critical. Even for those of us who are in Nigeria, if you register in Abuja and you find yourself in Lagos during the presidential election or national assembly election, you can't vote in Lagos. So you have to come back to Abuja to vote. So that law needs to be amended. And for members of the armed forces, for doctors, for even the media, because the media cover the elections and you are likely to be deployed outside the area where you register.
Exactly.
Have the opportunity to vote. So the current proposal for amendment to the 2022 Electoral Act is suggesting that the proposals are there that there should be any voting for this category of people. You know, in the governorship election, for instance, they will deploy as many as 30,000 police officers outside their station. 30,000 votes is a lot. Like I said, the media too, we have media organizations that we accredited. They go all over the country to perform their legislative duty. So the proposal is before the National Assembly. If they approve it, if they make a law, then anybody is made possible to take care of this category of people. But for the diaspora voting, there are also technical issues involved. When we are talking of diaspora, we are not just talking of the United States, United Kingdom. In Sudan, nearby, there are over 4 million Nigerians living there. How do you capture all of that? How will the voting take place? Will it be at the Nigerian embassy or embassies in those other countries or where? And we don't have electronic voting has not been approved by the law. There is no law to back that up yet. So these are all the issues, but I think somehow as the proposals and discussions continue, we'll find a way.
All right, the conversation doesn't stop here. It still continues. However, due to our time frame, we would need to drop anchor on the show here. But then before we let you go, Rotimi, any last words, your parting shots before we wrap up this particular edition?
Yes, I would like to appeal to Nigerians to take advantage of the comment severe to please register. Those who have never registered before are encouraged to do so. And it's going to be for your whole year, 1 year. So Nigerians are also encouraged to take advantage of this early. Because our experience has been that it is only in the closing week that more people will start coming out and the mounting pressure on us to postpone and postpone and postpone. So Nigerians are encouraged to please go and register. And another thing, if you have registered before, please don't register again. It is against the law to register more than once. So I appeal to you, if you are registered before and you don't have your PVC, our portal, you can use our portal to locate your PVC by just entering your date of birth, your name, and other information that the portal requires. You click on that site, you tell to exactly where your PVC is, your polling unit, and local government and the registration area.
Thank you, Rotimi, for your contribution this morning on the show. We sincerely appreciate that. And of course, we get to call you subsequently when we get to have discussions like this on the show. Thank you. All right, so that's where we wrap it up on today's edition of Factfile. Remember, the power to shape 2027 begins with your voters' card.